It's about 43 days now till the November election, and UNF has just released the result of their very latest voter polls. They show Andrew Gillum with a slight edge over Ron DeSantis in the race for governor right now. Gillum holds 47% of likely voters to DeSantis' 43%. As far as the race for Florida Senate seat, Bill Nelson and Rick Scott in a dead heat tie at this moment in this poll, both holding 45% of likely voters. Now, if you have ever wondered what exactly goes into these polls, and I think we all have, considering some of the results after these polls, just look at the last primary, are on your sides. Ann Schindler went behind the scenes to get the political pulse from Florida voters.
Hello, my name is Samantha and I'm a student at the University of North Florida.
My name is Rihanna.
My name is Gabriel and I'm a student
at the University of North Florida.
It's a rare place on earth.
We're conducting public opinion research.
May I speak with you for just a minute?
Where everybody's talking politics without conflict, argument, or insult. Just questions.
Andrew Gillum, el demócrata, por Ron DeSantis.
And what is your present religion, if any?
We are here in the Public Opinion Research Lab at UNF, and we are right now calling statewide across Florida, asking questions.
About a 5-minute survey?
UNF political science professor Michael Binder, who runs the lab, says effective callers share one skill.
Patience. Believe it or not everybody answers their phone when we call them.
We'll call you back at another time.
In order to get a sample of 700 likely voters, they will call thousands of Floridians.
This will only take just a couple minutes of your time.
It's a very short survey.
It's pretty quick, sir. How likely are you to vote in the upcoming election in November?
Not every call ends well.
I'm sorry about that. Is there a time that we can call back? Hello?
It's getting more difficult to make these kinds of calls, period.
Politics are contentious. People are busy, and even Binder agrees the emphasis on poll results can be misleading.
The horse race angle of polling is troubling a little bit, right? It's just who's winning. I wish there was more focus on policy, and we try to do that.
Immigration, crime, or something else?
Dr. Binder believes polls help educate voters and are an important part of the political dialogue.
How else are you going to get your voices heard? This is an opportunity for regular, everyday people to say, hey, this issue is important to me. Because guess what? Elected officials see these results and pay attention to them.
Many people recognize that, and some even enjoy being polled.
Thank you and have a good evening.
They tend to not get angry and they tend to be very supportive.
Okay, have a good day, sir.
Have a good evening.
Still, Binder says the best polling calls are short and painless.
2 minutes later, you're on your way, and then a couple days after that, you turn on First Coast News, and there you go. There's some election results that you were part of.
With Jeff Renfro, Ann Schindler, First Coast News.
Have a good night.
On your side.